True strength doesn't belong to the one who yells the loudest. It belongs to the one who never needs to raise their voice. In today's world, where people obsess over revenge, clapbacks, and constant validation, silence often gets mistaken for weakness. We're conditioned to retaliate when disrespected, to speak louder when ignored, and to hit back when provoked. But what if genuine power isn't found in resistance, but in measured control? That's the paradox. Real power is gained not by confronting your opponent's force, but by mastering your own. This brings us to Machiavelli. Niccolò Machiavelli, a provocative mind in political power and manipulation, understood a truth that many still don't grasp. True power lies in governing your image, your emotional state, and your response. That's far more destructive than using brute strength. In The Prince, he wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But here, fear isn't about physical threat. It's about controlling how others perceive you, your timing, and your silence. So today, we explore 6 quiet strategies for complete dominance. These aren't about attention-seeking or petty tactics. They're about measured progress, hidden resilience, and mastering the quiet path to becoming unshakable. Let's begin this with awareness, looking not only outward at others, but inward at ourselves. Because real power isn't about dominating people, it's about refusing to be dominated by them. I want you to write this in the comments. Silence is my strongest move. Before we dive deeper, remember to like this video, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Don't skip a second. Every moment lays the groundwork for what's to come. Number 1. Stop justifying everything. Benjamin Disraeli once said, "Never complain, never explain." One of the greatest shows of power is walking away without needing people to get it. Most are addicted to validation, always defending choices, explaining actions, begging to be understood. But each time you over-explain, you're handing over power, quietly saying, "Your view matters more than my peace." Power begins when you stop leaking it. Have you seen someone simply say no with no excuse? Or do something bold and never explain why? That's magnetism. That's quiet strength. That's power not asking to be understood. Machiavelli grasped this with clarity. He advised rulers to make firm decisions, but to keep their motives hidden. If no one understands why you act, they can't forecast your next move, manipulate your mindset, or take your power. That mystery, that's control. Now let's ground this in real life. Maybe you're improving quietly, changing routines, cutting ties with harmful people. Perhaps your breakthrough hasn't appeared yet, and they're questioning your path. Don't respond. Let time do the talking. Each explanation is a crack in the fortress you're constructing, and trust me, that fortress is holding something enormous. People fear what they can't interpret. They feel comfortable only when they can label you. If you move with quiet certainty, without seeking permission or approval, you become untouchable. Here's a truth most won't say aloud. The strongest individuals often walk away from battles they could easily win just to protect their peace. Because they understand this, reaction is distraction. If someone demands to know your reasoning, they likely were never aligned with your direction. Silence isn't weakness, it's a strategic blade. You owe no one a justification. What you owe is proof, results. Number 2, let their pride destroy them. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "When the enemy is making a false move, don't interrupt him." Dominance doesn't always come from pressing forward. Sometimes the most powerful move is remaining still, observing as others ruin themselves. Ego is a blindfold, and the most dangerous people in any room are the ones convinced they're invincible. So here's the rule. When someone underestimates you, provokes you, or disrespects you, don't correct them. Let them believe you're not a threat. Let them lower their defenses, then rise. Machiavelli saw deception not as dishonesty, but as tactical brilliance. Pretending to be less aware or weaker than you are offers access, gives you insight, and most importantly, it allows your rival to expose themselves. That's real power, resisting the pull to prove yourself. Because once you feel the need to prove, you've already lowered yourself to their level. And if their battlefield is ego, they've trained there longer. Let them speak. Let them assume. Let them misread your stillness. While they put on a show, you're quietly constructing something unstoppable. They mock your silence. They misread it as fear. But if you stay grounded, composed, and tactical, something remarkable happens. They start to unravel on their own. The louder they become, the more they reveal. And eventually, when their ego spins too far, they collapse under the weight of their own pride. You've seen it. Someone getting too confident, growing careless because they think you're not a threat. It happens constantly. And in those moments, you're given a choice. Match their noise or master your composure. Always choose composure. You don't conquer the chessboard by scattering your moves. You win by letting your opponent believe they're ahead, just long enough to strike with accuracy. Let their ego build the scene. You simply wait for the curtain to drop. Number 3, success is the only reply. The Joker in The Dark Knight said, "If you're good at something, never do it for free." Let's now talk about the most powerful move in silence, rising so deliberately you don't need to say a word. There's something beautiful about focusing so deeply on your personal evolution that the distractions around you blur into silence. They throw shade. You keep building. They question your worth. Still building. They stir the pot. You build some more. That's the playbook. Machiavelli understood that image is everything. He advised rulers to skip justifying themselves and instead create results that would speak so loudly, critics would have nothing left to say. Put simply, don't boast power, embody it. The people most misunderstood are those in the middle of a transformation. You're not who you were, but you're not fully formed yet either. And it's in that in-between space that most crumble under pressure, not you. Your task is to keep building, quietly, consistently, in private. Don't share every move. Don't reveal your blueprint. Don't react to small minds. Let your results humble them. Let your evolution expose their assumptions. When you really start leveling up, something happens. You get quiet. That's not fear. That's tunnel vision. You begin to understand that silence is motion. Real transformation doesn't scream. It moves beneath the surface. If you feel unseen right now, that's by design. Butterflies don't shout during metamorphosis. They go quiet, rebuild, and when they reappear, their wings speak louder than words. Let them fall silent when you enter, not because you spoke, but because of who you've become. That's how power works. Not through noise, but through undeniable transformation. Drop this in the comments. Success is my only response. Number 4, withdraw to evolve. Marcus Aurelius said, "Withdraw into yourself. It is in the silence that you will find strength." Sometimes the strongest move is retreating, not from weakness or anger, but with precise intent. There comes a point where your evolution outgrows the environment you're in. The dialogue feels shallow, the atmosphere heavy, the standards beneath you. That's when you vanish, not to run, but to recalibrate. This isn't hiding, it's incubation. Machiavelli distrusted the masses, warning that public favor is temporary. They'll cheer for you today and turn tomorrow. That's why the wise lead from a distance, not because they're arrogant, but because they understand preservation. Stepping back offers clarity, and from that clarity comes strength. In solitude, you stop performing, you stop reacting, you stop feeding distractions, and in that silence, you realign, you rebuild. But society despises when you disappear, because unpredictability cannot be manipulated. People will guilt trip you. They'll say you've changed, that you're acting distant, and they're right. That's the whole point. You're not meant to repeat tired cycles. You're not supposed to remain within the same noise, the same drama, the same limits. Your distance is your weapon. Use it. When you vanish, comparison fades. Outside voices quiet down, and your inner voice, it becomes clear. And when, if, you return, you do so sharper, calmer, and more powerful than ever before. Some won't recognize you anymore, and they shouldn't. Let the previous version of you remain behind. You owe no one access to your healing process. You don't have to post your plans. Just disappear, and then rise like the moon behind a storm cloud, returning brighter, fuller, impossible to ignore. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I disappear to rise higher. Number 5. Observe, don't react. Lao Tzu once said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." Most people can't help themselves. There's an instinct to react. Someone insults you, you clap back. Someone questions you, you defend your worth. Someone disrespects you, you feel you have to say something. But here's the rule: every reaction costs you something. Every response is an energy exchange, and what you pay is your power. Machiavelli understood this well. He warned that emotion clouds clarity. A ruler who reacts on impulse can be manipulated easily. But the one who watches, who waits, who stores insight for the perfect time, that leader is deadly. Think about the most dangerous person in any room. They're not the loudest, they're not the most animated, they're the stillest. They're watching, they're noting patterns, they're gathering information. And when the moment arrives, they strike with perfect timing. That's your role now. You don't engage fools, you study them. You don't retaliate on impulse, you analyze. You don't respond to every jab, you save it as leverage. That's not passivity, that's strategy. This applies across every space. In relationships, when someone gaslights you, don't argue, observe their pattern, remember it. At work, if someone tries to diminish you, don't respond emotionally, track their tactics. Use that awareness when the right chance comes. In public, when someone tries to humiliate you, don't flinch. They're telling the world more about themselves than about you. Let their insecurity expose them. This isn't about becoming cold, it's about staying clear. You're not a puppet, you're not on strings. You don't move when someone else pulls. Your power lies in the ability to choose when to act, how to respond, and whether a reply is even worth it. While others react to everything, you're building something far more valuable. A blueprint, a record, a strategy. And when your time comes, you'll move so precisely, they'll say it was luck. But it wasn't luck, it was restraint. Number 6. Use indifference as your sword. Anton Chekhov said, "To be insulted by a fool is a pleasure." There comes a moment in your journey where disrespect doesn't even register, not because it stops, but because you've grown past it. That moment, that's true power. That's the ultimate form of strength, indifference toward the meaningless. Machiavelli believed that true leaders must remain unaffected by the small and irrelevant. He once said that a wise ruler should appear noble, but act only when it truly serves their greater goal. That means ignoring petty jabs, meaningless arguments, and distractions that don't align with your long-term mission. Not because you're weak, but because you're locked in. Here's the truth. Not every insult requires your attention. Not every comment demands a comeback. Not every whisper deserves an answer. The most powerful people understand this. Their worth isn't on trial. Their energy isn't up for grabs. And indifference? It's terrifying to the insecure. They want to see you flinch. They want to knock you off center. They want to break your character. And when you don't, they unravel. Imagine this. Someone tries to provoke you. You just smile, or nod, or simply walk away. What happens next? They escalate. They shout louder. They grow more desperate. Why? Because your silence echoes. It communicates one thing louder than words ever could. You're not even on my level. That's what dominance really looks like. Not through noise, not through revenge, but through the calm, icy decision not to acknowledge the attempt. Let them gossip. Let them provoke. Let them question your reaction. While they obsess over your silence, you're building something vast, something far beyond their reach. You've mastered your emotions. You've anchored your presence. You've protected your peace. That level of control, you can't fake it. You can't buy it. You have to earn it through discipline. So the next time someone tries to bait you into their chaos, don't react. Don't explain. Don't defend. Just move forward, as if they never existed. That's not weakness. That's immortality of the mind. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You've now learned all 6 rules of silent power, and here's what unites them all: self-mastery. Each lesson you've heard today isn't just about tactics, it's about your evolution, your silence, your control, your personal growth, your detachment. These are not acts of withdrawal. They are the pillars of unshakable Stoic power. You don't react, you don't plead, you don't justify, you don't get drawn into trivial battles because you're constructing a kingdom within. The Stoics believed the truest triumph is conquering oneself, not rivals, not opponents, not the crowd, just you. That voice inside that urges retaliation, that pride that craves payback, that fear yearning for approval. You master that voice, and the rest aligns. Machiavelli taught influence through appearances. Stoicism teaches control through ethics. Fuse the two, and you're untouchable. Here's the last truth. Don't strike back. Don't create noise. Don't respond. Command yourself. Advance quietly. Let success speak. This is your moment to ascend in a way no one can prevent, because they never saw it coming. Drop this affirmation below. My silence speaks louder than their noise.